Right, testing. Am I live? Sorry. Wait, I'm still getting stuff set up. Let me try to get my model set up too. I'm so sorry for being late. I legit just forgot that I wanted to stream, and so I didn't set it up. I didn't do anything. I just kind of like realized like, oh yeah, I should stream today, and then forgot that like unlike Twitch, I can't just start the stream. I have to like set up a full YouTube page and everything. So I totally forgot to set everything up. Oh shit. Okay. 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 That should be good. I think that should be good. Okay. Okay. Oh wait, hold up. Did I not start VTube Studio? I'm such a klutz, man. What's going on? Oh, what the hell? It's okay. So the tracking is not working right now. Ugh, okay. Man, oh man. Here's hoping I'm not doxing myself too. Okay, I'm not doxing myself. Okay. There we go. For once I catch this stream. Yeah, it's. I'm happy to see you, Poke. I miss you, man. Where have you been throughout these past streams? I remember you used to be able to watch me. Now you're not able to. I mean, I don't blame you. I know you're busy with work and everything, but I miss watching you, man. How's life been treating you? Yeah, I'm gonna try doing it with the BGM off right now, just because like apparently my editor really wants me to uh keep not have the BGM. I really should figure out a way to do split audio, but I'm pretty sure you can only do that on Twitch. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that. But I'll do the best I can because I really wanted to do that. Overworked. Guess a new change, I suppose. So far, I'm in neat for a week. That seems difficult because I know it's like on one hand, it's like good to not finally be so stressed out at work. But on the other hand, you need a job in order to like keep supporting yourself. So that's tricky. Why isn't this working? I need to be better prepared. Perhaps I shouldn't start the stream unless everything's actually working, even if it's a little late. But I want to be here with you guys. I want to chat with you guys right away. I want everything good. Oh, there we go. Okay, finally. I guess I had to connect V-Bridger after all. Okay. So I do have a lot saved for the last few months. How'd you do with like it? I know you're involved with the GFL community. How'd you end up doing with the Kluklai banner? I saw on Twitter that you went to the pop-up shop. I was jealous. I really wanted to do the pop-up shop, but like I can't just book a trip to LA for no reason. To last long, I have to be more of an F2 than a Dolphin when it comes to gacha games. Oh, I feel that lately. I feel that. I really need to save money, but man, there's so much shit happening all at once in like all my gacha games that I don't think I can do that. Anyways, point of the stream. So I'm just gonna roll up my sleeves. Point of the stream. So I've been really into gin and tonics lately. Just a very simple drink. It's exactly how it sounds. It's 1 part gin, 2 parts tonic. Very delicious drink, very comforting drink. But I started to wonder while I was drinking one the other day. Why is it just gin and tonic? And I do know why it's gin and tonic. It's like it's a lot more palatable way to deliver quinine, which is in tonic water, and that was used to cure scurvy. I think it was. I don't think it was scurvy, but it was some illness that sailors suffered from, and quinine is very bitter. It's quite unpleasant. Mixing it with gin made it more palatable, and then of course putting it together was really good. And that's gin was what they had. So I did wonder, like, they probably didn't use whiskey because they didn't have it. They didn't use rum because they didn't have it. What if we made rum and tonic, whiskey and tonic, absinthe and tonic, whatever else I can think of in tonic? I wanted to see what that's like, so that's what we'll be doing today. Plus, as this isn't exactly the deepest stream, it's just a nice Zatsudan thing that just be able to talk to you guys on stuff while we sip on X and tonics. So that's what we're gonna do today. Pretty simple. As for the Klukai thing, I just bought the ticket packs and saved up over time. Didn't toss lots of money. V6. Some people are going V6 though, and like that's a lot of 50-50s you gotta win. Hold up, I need to turn down the light. It's like doing the disco thing again. Give me a sec. I do have a lot saved up for when I do finally pull on a character, but I'm not sure if I'd be able to just like V6 right away any character I want. Um like I really want to do I do like slightly dolphin in that game. I do buy like the cheap packs, but I don't even feel like I'm a dolphin because I looked at the charts for like the I looked at the charts for like, oh yeah, what's the best value for pools, and none of them are particularly good. Like every pool is $1 roughly, and then so it's like there's barely any packs that are under $1, and so it feels like pretty wasteful to buy packs. But then also like you don't like if you really want to in any gacha game, if you really want on specific characters, you really do you're gonna need to pile up a lot of pulls. So I'm not 100% sure how I want to pull that off. As for the pop-up shop, by the time I arrived, everything sold out. Apparently it was sold out first day in the first hour. They only had stickers. I did hear about that. I did hear about that. They absolutely did not anticipate how popular it would be, which is a great thing, which is a symptom spawning from a great sign. Sup, hacker troller? How you doing? I'm doing great. I actually I pre-gamed aimed a little bit again. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings and tried their beef cheesesteak. Oh, that shit's so good, honestly. It really is so good. But I yeah, I also had like a tall beer, and then I also had like a donut later on. So I am slightly full, but I'm hopefully I'll have enough to make a few X and tonics. Oh well, I got pictures of some cosplayers. So being a G11 cosplayer is uh, being a G11 cosplayer has to be the best job in the world because you get paid to show up to these events and and sleep in public, and then people will praise you because you're cute. That's got to be the best job in the world. Asking your question, I have a bowl of Ballantines under my desk. It's cheap, tastes good, and goes in like water. So that's when I drink when I want something relaxed. Nice, nice. That's a good one. I'll be honest. I actually what is Valentine's, but yeah, there I my go-to bottle has always been old granddad. So like having a go-to bottle is always nice. Anyways, so I think we should get started with the basic gin and tonic, which is as simple as it gets. I'm gonna fill this with ice, and then we'll just build a gin and tonic to have like a sample of what to expect from the rest. Give me a sec. Okay, so first things first, the gin and tonic. Is a perfectly simple drink. All it is 1 part gin. I'll use 2 ounces. Oh, is this? Oh, is this not a twist off? Okay, I'm gonna need a bottle opener. And 2 parts tonic water. So roughly 4 ounces, but honestly, you don't have to be this precise with it. Oh gosh, I wasn't paying attention. Honestly, like that's not even 2 ounces. That was 3 ounces. So just enough to top it off. And there we go, gin and tonic. It really is that simple. You can fancy it a little bit with like a peel of lemon or like a squeeze of lime juice or something, bitters maybe. But honestly, I think it's best when it's simple. And it really is that simple. The quinine bitter taste like actually melts together so well with the like juniper, the like floral and herbal components of the gin, and it just makes for a really healing drink. This is such an easy and satisfying drink. This has been my go-to drink for relaxing, like I put in my question of the day. And I I've just been slamming gin and tonics just because it's so easy and it's so refreshing. That actually happened in the GFL2 announcement YouTube, if I recall, where the Klukai like cosplayer was interviewing with the dev and the Mekti cosplayer just slept through the entire interview. Yeah, I remember that. Like so many of the tweets weren't even about the Klukai cosplayer. It was about like the out of pocket shit the devs were doing, which was awesome. Like about all the stockings and whatnot. And then it was like pictures of the G11 cosplayer just sleeping the entire time. Dude, I was at a Walmart earlier today and I was crossing the liquor area. I swear gin goes up in price every millisecond. Yeah, just a bit of lemon juice. Yeah, I've I liked it with a squeeze of lime in it, but I still think I prefer just the gin and tonic. And I haven't noticed the price of gin going up because I haven't had to do a bottle run in a while. Never had gin. Gin is delightful. This is actually a really cheap gin. This was only like $18 for this whole bottle, and it's honestly still just as good as other ones. If it's good enough for James Bond, it's good enough for me. Like James Bond in one of the movies specifically asked for Gordon's. So like It's a good gin despite how cheap it is. And like are plenty of good gins. Hello, Cheapity. Nice of you to stop by. When it comes to spirits, so far I only have vodka, whiskey, and rum. Vodka, I've made my opinion clear on that. I really don't like it. Whiskey, I do love of whiskey, and rum. Oh yeah, I swear I can never have enough rum. Gin is weird. Neat is bare as fuck and undrinkable. Diluting it with tonic, I swear it tastes like a weird lemonade, but in a good way. Yeah, that's kind of how exactly this tastes. It's like a weird, like herbal lemonade in a way, despite the fact that I didn't put any lemon in this. Yeah, because it's so like herbal, because of the juniper and then the mix with the tonic, and the tonic water itself has sugar, so like there is a sweetness that binds everything together that's really pleasant and nice. It's good. It's really good. But with how good this is and just how naturally it comes together, I did wonder, what if did it with other spirits? I love whiskey. Is a whiskey and tonic good? I love rum. Is a rum and tonic good? I love absinthe. Is an absinthe and tonic good? Why don't we try that? So I I just want to try that. There's no deeper thing to this. I'm just curious if the whole thing with the gin and tonic was that it's quinine watered down with gin to make it palatable. I have to imagine that that would go good with other spirits too, right? Because like it turns out that bitter, that sugary but bitter taste of the tonic water probably does mesh well with other ingredients, right? With gin, it's perfect. Let's see how well it pairs with other stuff. I've never had vodka alone. I always drink it in cocktails or make liqueurs out of it. Yeah, I did have a phase where I drank vodka straight, and it was one of the most depressing times in my life. Like there was a funny chart I remember seeing where it's like like how strong how strong it is and how much it makes you hate yourself for drinking it. And while it's pretty linear, where it's like, okay, how do I do this? So this is left and then this is up. Okay, yeah. Like as you go up and up and up, and then like absinthe is somewhere near the top and it's pretty linear, but then like vodka was in the middle but it was like way up here, like the how much you hate yourself, whereas like it's still not that strong compared to like crazy stuff like overproofs and absinthe. Like vodka is way too intense. I think rum goes well with tonic, but I don't think it will go well with whiskey. Well, that's what we're gonna be here to try. Give me one sec to fill this up with ice now. Okay, so should I do rum or whiskey first? I think I want to try the rum first. Let's go with my Planare 5 year. Very good rum, and I think it will be nice with the little tonic water. So 2 ounces of Planare 5 year. And then we'll simply top that off with the tonic water. I'm not going to measure it. Rum and tonic. Guess tomorrow I have a bad hangover. That happens after literally every one of these streams. Okay, I end up with a lot of weird. All of these streams involve me consuming quite a bit. Hmm. Okay, so for one, it's not as good as the gin and tonic, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I think the main issue is that I don't think the quinine shows up enough. I think the rum is too powerful for it. So it's like it does show up like at the bottom, but it's like being pressed down by the rum flavors, the like aggressively like spoiled bananas, the caramel, the like baking spices. It's very pressed down by all the rum flavor, and then you get it's the peak of quinine up above, like peeking out from above, and it does it it tastes good. It's just that it's not like in balance the way the gin and tonic is, because the with the gin and tonic, everything that's in the gin blends super well with the quinine, which is not being held back at all. My avatar just made a funny face. Yeah. So, because I hold the glasses in front of my tracker often, it like messes with the tracking every now and then, and so I know myself that I make funny faces all the time because of that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not a great way to use tonic water. Yeah, it just doesn't show up. Like if you're trying to make a cocktail out of it, it doesn't really show up. You might as well just dilute this with water and call it grog, because that's exactly what grog is. Grog is like a squeeze of lime, water, and rum, because their water would go bad on ships alone. So in order to make sure there wasn't like bacteria in the water and getting all the sailors sick on long trips, they diluted they put some rum in the water to disinfect it, and then also some lime to make it more palatable. Lime and sugar to make it more palatable, and also the lime had the bonus of, I think the lime was for scurvy. I forget what the tonic was for, the quinine, but I knew the citrus. Citrus was in various like seafaring drinks because it helped prevent scurvy. Extra VTuber point to XD XD XD. Heard that was a thing back then in the medieval old days, mixing a bit of alcohol with the water sources. Yeah, it was a genuine thing. Like we didn't have refrigerators back then. We didn't have water filtration, and so like your water can get really dank and filled with bacteria and algae if you're on a boat for like 4 weeks. And but you have to drink water to survive, and so you're like downing all this stuff because you need to stay hydrated, but it's bad for you because it's so filled with the bacteria that they put rum in it, not so that you can feel good. It's trying to disinfect your water source so you can actually live. So it wasn't for fun. And then so you like it's super watered down. Like grog is like 6 parts water to 1 part rum. So it's not that you're not really trying to get drunk off of this. And then the lime and the sugar is just there to make it a little easier to drink, because it's still going to be filled with algae. It's still going to be filled with gross stuff, and it's not going to be completely disinfected. So it's very it it was very important to do all that just so you can fulfill one of your basic survival needs. even in villages and stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. That's sort of why like even kids drank beer back then, right? And it wasn't like, oh, it will actually get you drunk alcoholic. It was like 1% alcohol because it was just like freshly made beer that hasn't had time to ferment and have a high alcohol content. So it was not, I mean, it's still bad as we figured out nowadays, but it wasn't as bad as it could be. But part of it is because it's like a more useful way to like have a liquid to drink. Yeah. I mean, I'm still drinking it, but it's mostly because I like this rum. Like I can drink rum straight. It's super good. But it's as a drink, as a mixer plus spirit type of cocktail, it's I don't think rum and tonic really works. It was all survival. Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, that's why the invention of bread was so oh, important. I kind of joked about this with the bready post. I was like, "Oh, the invention of bread was so important. It's a portable way to like get carbs and whatnot." And it was mostly a point to. It was mostly a post to just thirst for bready from Nikkei. Oh man. I could we might as well talk about that because I actually have like really strong takes about bready in a good way, in like a positive way. So okay, let's actually talk about this because I think I just kind of want to get this off my chest and I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts on this too. So what makes Bready such a good character? And in fact, let me actually look her up for you guys so that like you can see what I'm talking about. If you've ever seen the character Bready from Nikkei. If you haven't, if you have, just picture her in mind. If you haven't, give me a sec to look that up for you. Somewhere down here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Sure. Think it was this one. And before I bring up the wrong thing, there we go. Okay, so see how like she has like a legit muffin top, and and if you scroll down on her, let's see if I can pull this up. Um,
Did you bring the food?
bam. See how thick she is. Like that is like 3 C's, not just 2 C's. That's like 3 C's thick. Crazy, crazy what they did with this character. I love it. I absolutely love it. And the reason I love it isn't necessarily because I enjoy the isn't necessarily because I enjoy the thickness. Well, I do, but that's not the main point. Like she's not my favorite design in all of Nikkei, but I think she's an important design in like just character design in general because of the fact that they finally made a very good attempt at an attractive fat character. And I feel like we've been missing out on that because there's always been like half-assed versions of it, and it's really cool that they actually succeeded in that. We don't have large land space and time to run a farm. That's very true. Is it not because of the chub? It is partly because of the chub, but I did want to like go deeper on it. A guy I knew retweeted like 50 Brady posts in 2 days. More by now. That's very based. That's very based. Hey T. Hey T. I see we're talking about Brady. Brady is awesome, but Crust is as my art. Oh my god, Crust is so adorable. Crust is such a well done character too. From design to like her personality to everything, Crust is a great character too. Though lore wise to me, it doesn't make sense since Nike are cyborg. So I mean, that is a main thing. I'm guessing she was that way even when she was a human, because a big point of Nike is that the reason they are so human like is because they need to feel human in order to not have like dysphoria, not to have a mind switch, because as if they're ever reminded too much that they are androids, they are robots, they will go crazy, and then that can lead to a lot of problems. I need her to be pullable like yesterday. Same. I really want Crust now too. Um, so back to Brady. So a huge problem I've had with a lot of like the glionist type characters is that I feel like they never fully lean into it properly, especially if they're meant to be an attractive character. So it's like you have you have like comically fat characters in a lot of senses. So you have like Saber who like eats everything she has, and like there's tons of characters like that where they just inhale food, like they just breathe in and all the food on the table gets swallowed up. Or they like or they actually are like a big round character, like very clearly comically fat, like very round and plump, and they bank solely on them being a jolly and happy personality, which a lot of characters succeed at. But it feels weird to me that like no one has tried to make it a conventionally attractive character that also has a fair amount of chub to them. Now, in fairness, Kotori from Blue Archive did this first. Kotori from Blue Archive did have like a little bit of a muffin top. She did have like some chub hanging off of her belly in her cheerleader outfit. So she's wearing like a crop top and the skirt, and like her belly spilling over it, and it was very cute and very like on brand for her. But like Brady was the one who blew up, and I think it's because Brady like legit had like the attractive traits. The she was doing like the sultry poses, and she even has a really sultry voice. If you listen to her Japanese voice actress, I can't speak much to the English voice actress, but the Japanese voice actress like really leaned into like the seductive sultry voice. It's like, oh, hot damn. Hot damn, they're leaning into it, especially with all the food innuendos you can make with the fact that she's a taster and everything, which they do in Nikkei. And so I compare her to my main example. I compare her to is Sabrina from GFL2. A huge pet peeve of mine, right, in a huge pet peeve of mine with the Sabrina is that she is the comically fat character. She's very much depicted as very gluttonous. She just eats tons of food constantly. Every one of her interactions is about food. Every time you look at her, she's eating food. Like her promotional material is her like with in her swimsuit form was like her or like lying down surrounded by food as she's eating, and she's supposed to be depicted as like the really plump jolly fat character, or that's like comically gluttonous, but like next to Brady, she looks malnourished. She looks like an underwear model compared to Brady, and it's like it feels wrong that Sabrina doesn't have like a muffin top, that she isn't depicted as like slightly chubby. She only seems that way compared to the other members of GFL2 who are all like rail thin. And then so it's like she still has like an hourglass figure. She isn't really that plump. She has a little bit of skin dentation on her bikini outfit, but it's not she isn't like chubby in any sense other than compared to her peers, but like compared to an actual big character like Brady, she just looks like another model. And so like it's refresh. And don't get me wrong, I love Sabrina's design. I love the way I still love the way she looks. I still love of her personality and all the or her quirks and whatnot. It just feels weird that they made the canonically glidiness character, who is meant to be like somewhat unfit, because even in her dorm interactions, one of them is that she's doing the hula hoop and she can only like spin it around 4 times before she gets tired. Like they're really leaning into the idea that she's supposed to be chubby, but she's not. And then so compared to that, it's like Brady is like actually what she's supposed to look like, I would think. Do, 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 do. Cyber Psycho, imagine Adam Smasher and Nikkei. I'm sure there's one character who could be like that. I think EH. She appears really late in the story, but she could potentially be that. Game brokey thick vibe memes. I'm not sure what you mean by that. The English dub sounded weirdly clipped and mechanical. Yeah, I'll admit I'm not really into the Nikkei English dub. I don't ever use it. Brawly Omni Man, but to the west it's not. How do you mean by that, Poke? I think my favorite part of Brady is the fact that her chub isn't entirely unfounded, because Brady is a food taster by design. Yeah, exactly. So many like the gluttonous archetype is a pretty established trope in anime. There's so many like gluttonous type characters in anime, and they're all like largely the same. Like there's so many characters where a big part of their personality is that they eat a lot. And my issue with it isn't necessarily that, because I'm kind of neutral on the archetype. I don't really care either way. I don't think it's positive nor negative. It's more to the fact that with the designs, it's either they're still just like a cute sexy anime girl, or they're like comically fat, or guy. They're male gluttonous types too, or they're just comically fat. They're like really really wide, have a big belly and all that, like an exaggerated big belly. And then so like no one ever meets in the middle and creates like a chubby character who is actually like chubby. They aren't like ridiculously obese. They aren't like real thin models who just happen to eat a lot. It's We barely get to chubby characters, and I can think of two other good examples from anime. Okay. I'm actually forgetting. No, I remember. So one of them was Rihoko from Amagami SS. If you've ever watched Amagami, she's her whole thing was that like she wanted to go on a diet, and she's in the tea club, and she loves eating pâté choux, which is like a French pastry, very delicious, cream filled pastry, delicious. It's also filled with sugar, and so like that's part of why she gains weight, and like you can tell she's a little chubby, and so they lean into that, and like she is trying her best to not to overindulge, but also like who among us? I love sweets. I love sweets too. She loves sweets. It's hard to resist the temptation of sweets. So she's a little chubby for that. That and then whoa, okay, um, and then Sakura Hibiki from Dumbbell Nankilo Motteru. How heavy are the dumbbells you lift? The workout anime. She starts off chubby, and like she is the comically gluttonous type. She'll like inhale food. She'll like eat a full plate. She'll like eat a whole table worth of food. But to have like realistically thick thighs, realistically a bit of a muffin top. But then she's slimming down over the course of the show because she's learning how to work out. She's learning how to manage her diet more. it's cool seeing that transformation and being, despite the fact that she's comically gluttonous, being realistic about how chubby she would be. And I find that refreshing, and that's why I find Brady so refreshing. Is because, okay, yeah, as T mentioned, she's a food taster. It's her job to continuously eat, and then so like it makes sense that she would be rather chubby. But it's also like they're not going too far in that direction that they're just gonna make her obese and like really really round on for or like fun, like make like those chibi fat guys. Like I'm thinking of like the big guy from Majikoi, who's like he's always eating too. He's like comically fat, but he's like a really lovable dorky guy. No, there's still trying to make her lean towards like the other sexy anime girls they like in Nikkei, but then like lean her in the chubby direction and nailing it. I think, in my opinion, nailing it, and that's really nice. Sabrina is my favorite GFL design. I'm not even sure it's the chub so much as the hair, but the chub is also nice. Yeah, yeah. Sabrina is a really well done character. I just, I just as personally wish that if she's depicted as the comically gluttonous type, that they would have made her more chubby. Like that elf from the reverse isekai. Um, what is the name of that show? Because I started watching Dungeon Meshi actually, and I thought that would be the elf, except it's not. So like what show is that from? The chubby elf girl. The dumbbell anime had such a catchy Onegai maso mecha motetai. Onegai maso mecha yasetai. Yes. Onegai maso mecha motetai nara a kiniki kiniku onegai. Oh my god. I feel like I can I can recite that song perfectly. I rewatched that show over and over and over and over again because it's legit workout advice. There is this so the I feel like I told this story before, but fuck it. The guy who is the biggest dumbbell Nankilo Moteru fan isn't a Japanese person. Is this American dude named Jax Blade. He is a fitness YouTuber, but he's like a weeb fitness YouTuber. What he does is like, oh, is this workout for Naruto realistic? Is this workout from Avatar realistic? Is this workouts from Dragon Ball Z realistic? And it turns out, yes, they are. If you make them more realistic reps, like obviously you can't do as many reps as Goku can, but like if you do his workout at a more reasonable clip, you will get the same muscles as Goku. You will get the same muscles as Uncle Iroh. You will get the same muscles as One Punch Man. Like the workout, the way artists draw the muscles on the guys are actually realistic to the kind of muscles you would get if you did their workouts, which is really cool. And then so like he talked about for the longest time his favorite manga was Dumbbell Nankiro Moteru, and he thought it was so niche because he knows it's like, oh, it's a workout, oh, it's manga, it's like a weird it's a weird little thing. I doubt it will ever get adapted. He heard it was gonna get adapted, and then he was so excited. He was like freaking the fuck out, and then like he decided to film himself watching the reaction to the trailer, like the trailer for Dumbbell Nankilo Motoru, and he's watching it and he's slowly like descending into tears, like, oh my god, it's actually happening. Like he's bawling his eyes out. He can barely watch it because his eyes are closed, just bawling his eyes out, being so excited for it. And he went viral on Japanese tours. Like, holy shit, this American dude loves this workout, this weird workout show going on. I kind of want to see it. And then the show comes out. It's this really weird, etchy, but also really cool education show where they're like teaching you how to like do bench presses and teaching you how to do squats and teaching you all this stuff. And it's like, wait a minute, is this real? And then so he did a YouTube series where he is like he's a personal trainer IRL. So he was like personal trainer reacts to dumbbell nankilo moteru. And then he's going through it and it turns out dumbbell nankilo moteru is actually good workout advice. Like almost all the lessons from the show are actually good advice. The only issue he has is with the diets. Like when they talk about diets, he disagrees with the diets. But everything else in the show, he's like, "Oh yeah. This is good workout advice. If you follow this, it really help you." And then like he was legit tearing up at the end of the show because like the very last scene of the show before it ends is you see Hibiki, the main character, jump on a scale, and like early in the show she jumps on a scale and realizes, oh god, I'm getting fat, I need to work out, I need to I want to be hot so I can get a boyfriend. The very end of the show, she steps on a scale and just like wells up with tears and starts cheering and is so happy with herself before the episode ends, and that's the end of the anime. And like he was choking up again, he was tearing. I was like, oh my god, my girl. Like it was great, it was great. Well, as I said, apparently in China, Sabrina's body type is seen to be fat. I mean, she again, like compared to the other T dolls, sure, she's relatively fat. Compared to like other chubby characters and anything else, she still seems like a model. Plus size elf. Okay, I've definitely heard of that. I've never watched it though. Yeah, that one. Okay. I know that guy loves fighting manga like Baki and Kengan and Asura. Yeah, he talks about those shows a lot too. He seems to like just lots of shonen anime in general, it seems. Made a clip of the epic singing. Oh god, please no. I'm so bad at singing. Oh god. I want to do a karaoke someday, but I can't bother my family, unfortunately. Yeah, the the rum and tonic is still weird. The gin and tonic is still really good. Okay, next one up. Next one up. Let's try a whiskey and tonic now. Those details make mangas great. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Especially because it's such a grounded show. It's so like it's a realistic workout advice show. And then so like the fact that you see the main character doing all this stuff, including relapsing, like during the Christmas thing, like they make a whole point of like, oh no, she's binge eating again. She's like gained fat again because she's like stressed out and started eating a lot. And then so you see her lose progress too, but then as she continues to work out, as she's getting better over time, she's she is slowly slimming down over the course of the show. And you do see that visually, but it's so gradual that you don't really notice unless you put it side by side, because she really was really chubby in the beginning of the show, and then she got decently skinny by the end of the show, and you feel so proud of her progress, because like that's how it be. Like it, like when you start to work out, you don't realize that you're starting to really get skinny again and healthy, and it's nice, it's beautiful even. Question, what is tonic? So let's read off the ingredients here. Where is the ingredients actually? Oh, here we go. Carbonated water, sugar, citric acid, natural flavoring, natural flavorings including quinine. The quinine is the key part. So quinine, I should really look this up, honestly. Let me actually pull up the thing that I learned this from, because it is important.
Fear does not exist.
Wrong one, Greg. Wrong one, Greg. Just give me a sec. I really want to pull this up because I want to sound like I know what I'm talking about. And I don't think I need to pull it up. You should it should be fine just to listen. So
personally, I think that
dry martini, Negroni, Tom Collins, gin and tonic. Okay, he explains it somewhere here.
for a gin and tonic, this is probably what they meant. A glass. And yes, personally, I think you do the fine, but as long as we're measuring, I'm gonna use monkey 40 ratios. Make sure I have enough. It's one of those kinds of things. You gotta think about your medium. You gotta go where the medium glassware is part of the medium. Maybe you would call it with a gin and tonic. Most of you, it's not a spirit mixer drink. I don't want you to think of this as a spirit mixer drink. A gin and tonic is not a rum and coke. It's not a vodka and seltzer. Honestly, it's not even
vodka
a Collins,
and seltzer. What the
Collins
hell?
has quite a bit of its seltzer in it. Because tonic water is a very powerful flavor. The history of this drink is that it was invented to make drinking tonic water easier, more palatable, tastier, because tonic water is super duper bitter. Why would you need to do that? Well, because way back in the day, in the days of the British Raj, the British Army was getting malaria, as was everybody.
Oh, it was malaria.
Tonic water, or actually quinine, or it was at the time because of the strain of malaria that was going around.
Yeah, it was malaria that quinine helps obscure. So, the last part that I mentioned there was important. So the quinine right there at the end, that's the ingredient in tonic water that makes it a tonic, makes it medicine, because I'm not exactly sure what the exact definition of tonic is, but it is medicine. That's basically what tonics were like a weird old-timey medicine. Quinine is a really bitter root that they found helps cure malaria, which is a very deadly disease. And so that's a very, very nice thing to put to consume to make sure you don't catch malaria. Issue, it's highly bitter. I can open another bottle. So let me kill this bottle so I can just show you what this tastes like. Oh, God. Yeah, if not for the water and the citrus, it would be so bitter. It's so medicinal. Yeah, that's so medicinal. And so, it's like if you were to drink this straight, you would think you're drinking superpowered cough syrup. Because that's the quinine talking. It's really... It's really bitter. It's really slightly unpleasant when unmoderated. And so people needed to add gin to it so people could actually keep it down. It wasn't the casual drink that we're drinking right now. It's not the casual thing just to enjoy. You needed to drink this so you don't die of a heinous disease. And mixing it with your alcohol was actually a good thing, as opposed to being a really bad thing these days, because you really, really, really shouldn't drink. You really, really, really shouldn't drink while having medicine. Nowadays, the reason why we drink gin and tonics, and it's fine to drink our quinine with alcohol, is because quinine doesn't work anymore. Quinine does not cure malaria as malaria is today. Much like us, viruses evolve too, bacteria evolves too, etc. Please don't drink cough syrup with alcohol. That's what lean is, right? I don't actually know what lean is, but I know it's been joked around a lot. Cocktail drink started as medicine. People wanted to taste better, and fast forward, we have mixology. That's not entirely true, because I know some things were called medicine, but in a tongue-in-cheek way. It's like, oh, this will cure you of your ails. They knew it won't, but people love drinking. Hot toddy, oddly enough, still helps with the cough. I can feel that. I can feel that because as just it's hot. It's like getting up into your sinuses and clearing it out. That it does seem like something I'll do. Oh man, we should do a hot toddy episode. Oh, I love hot toddies so much. Maybe that can be a Zatsudan episode. I'll just make hot toddies and just chat with you guys on like a really cold day someday in the winter, and we can just chat and have a hot toddy. Oh, that would be nice. Sprite and cough syrup. Ugh, that doesn't even sound good. What the fuck? Um, yeah, I had to take medicine until a couple days ago, so I can't drink. That's a shame. That's a shame. For sure. I think like the mint julep in particular was like a tongue in cheek cure. Like I don't think the mint julep was ever considered medicinal. However, a julep was medicinal. And then someone invented a cocktail named the mint julep as a joke because it's not medicinal, but it makes you feel good. I know actually Angostura bitters was considered medicinal at some point. Not because as they actually thought it was medicinal, I think. I'm pretty sure it wasn't real. What happened was the people who made Angostura bitters, the prohibition happened, so they were no longer allowed to sell these as a drink ingredient. But then they were like, actually, we're a pharmacy. We're gonna prescribe you Angostura beers because it will help you with something. And then so suddenly this was a prescribed medicine and not an alcoholic ingredient. It's rather cold tonight. I mean, sure, but it's cold most nights. Maybe we could do a toddy episode at some point. We could do a toddy episode anytime because I want to do it as like a Satsudan thing. Because like there's not really much to teach about toddies. At least from me. Like obviously toddies have a nice history that we could go into, and maybe I'll look into it and I can talk about it a little bit. But mostly I just want to sip a toddy and like hang out with you guys because it's a comfy drink, and it would be nice to cozy up and chat with each other over a toddy. Even Coca-Cola was considered medicine at some point. Right, because it contained cocaine. Yeah. um, Coca-Cola was invented so that people would stop drinking wine, and also to deliver cocaine because cocaine was considered medicinal back then. We should do an episode. I really want to do it. It's a someday. I really want to do an episode where we go through drinks, talking about what they were meant to be medicines for, even though like clearly they don't work for that. Like the gin and tonic did actually work for malaria. Daiquiris, which are just basically we can put grog in because like the lime in the grog genuinely helped with scurvy. So gin and tonics, as we're discussing today, were actually good for malaria. Grogs, which we've discussed today, were genuinely good for scurvy. But then like a lot of other medicinal drinks weren't good for anything. Now we use it as stain remover. The funny thing that works. What? No way. No way. You're capping. You're capping. There's no way that's true. Give me a sec. I'm going to fill this with ice. I remember one time I did banana daiquiri. One of the best things I ever made. Ooh, that sounds good. what made it a banana daiquiri? Did you literally just like press a banana in there, or did you like use a banana liqueur or something? I know there's like a banana liqueur that I've seen. Zao Music VT, not VT, YT, Zao Music YT, great mixology YouTube VTuber, by the way, and he has an excellent voice and he can play the sax, like just amazing overall guy. Anyways, like he's made a bunch of drinks with banana liqueur, and like if I really want to try getting that, but I can't think of good reasons to use it. Yeah, here in Mexico, some people use Coca-Cola to remove stains in bathrooms. Actually, I feel like I've heard of that, but I still don't understand how that works. But I guess it's the same way, like, oh, like Filipino grandmas will use vinegar for fucking everything, and somehow that works. So for our whiskey, I'm gonna do some. Should I use my beloved old granddad? Let me try using something a little different. Just one, to preserve my old granddad in case this is bad, and two, just because I want to show off other things I have. Sure, actually, I haven't used rye in a long time. I really want to get Rin House again, but we'll use Whistle Pig, Piggyback 100% rye. This was another suggestion from Zhao YT. I really, I do like this stuff. For I a lot of stuff in my uh, collection are stuff that I like rip from Zhao, because he's like I learned so much from him directly. So 2 ounces of some rye whiskey. And then top that off with tonic water. Rye and tonic. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, this is bad. I think this is bad, actually. Yeah, I don't think that works right, because the bitterness doesn't really help it clashes with the flavors of the rye as opposed to helps it. Yeah, yeah. Like it mutes some of the like spiciness from the rye. It mutes some of the like woodness. The what the bitterness does, it makes the wood seem rye. Is what I feel like. Like, okay, you know the smell of fresh wood that like is the flavor you tend to get from whiskeys. Like, what if you went into the forest after a rainy day and now you pass by some like really rotten wood that got soaked and like is now decaying after the rain? That's what this kind of tastes like. Nope, nope. That's really bad. Okay. Well, now we know it's bad. I don't think that's a victory. Yeah, I don't think that's a moral victory I should be taking, because, like, it's kind of a waste of good booze. But I mean, I have been curious as to why it's only gin and tonics. Now I know, because it's like, man, there is something deeply weird about how tonic mixes with drinks. Yeah, I keep tasting it, trying to find other notes in there, but it's like, I guess to try to describe it properly, it's like soggy wood, muted baking spices, like some that's trademark rye, and then like all throughout is like pierced with the bitterness that's like part of what's making everything taste like the rotting wood, like a fallen tree after the rain that's starting to rot away and filled with insects. Like it's ugh. It's not good. It's not good, Chief. It is not good. Ah, the gin and tonic is such a breath of fresh air, and it's just crazy just how like how different the bitterness of the quinine really affects different spirits. Clara puts olive oil in her ears to remove wax. That doesn't seem healthy. What the fuck? I don't. I highly doubt it works like that. There's gotta be something else that's happening, and that's like a placebo of some kind. That doesn't feel like that actually works the way that she wants it to work. Jesus, that sounds dangerous. Though also I kind of wonder too, like, does the quality of the oil matter or something? Like, I only have extra virgin olive oil. Do you have to have like a quality olive oil? Maybe a quality olive oil has some like magic tricks. Apparently, it's a common folk remedy. From where? From where? Oh yeah, sorry about this hack controller. I used the banana liqueur. I also put half a banana on the blender, some ice, and voila, a drink that tastes like a pastry. Mmm. Mmm. That does sound good. That does sound good. If you like blended it up and made it like a smoothie. Okay. Okay. I can get behind that. That sounds pretty good actually. What rum did you use then? Maybe Italy. I mean, I guess it would have to be Italy, right? Olive oil. Apparently, also at Walmart, I saw some bottles of Japanese whiskey that hit me right in the gut. I I need to I need to experiment more with Japanese whiskey. I like Hibiki and Toki, but also like they're too weird for me because they don't follow any of the same rules that's like American whiskeys do. Like I remember like if you go to How to Drink's whiskey explanation video, he like taste tests a bunch of whiskeys among different types, and then also like Scotch whiskey, Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey. So, like in America, there are very strict rules. In order to be a bourbon, you have to age it in a new barrel with for this long, and it has to be a 51% corn mash bill. And for rye, it's the same thing, but with rye as the mash bill. And then it's like there's all these different rules and regulations that make it very specific, legally speaking, to like define whiskeys. Whereas apparently in Japan, and he explains this in his video via post editing. What he did was, is like in the video itself, he's like, I looked it up and I couldn't tell you what's going on with the Japanese whiskey. So let's let editor Greg do it. And then so he just stands there, not saying anything, and you see all the text on screen is like, yeah, I seriously couldn't find anything else about this. There really isn't any rules or regulations about what makes whiskey in Japan. And then so like it's hard to determine like what Japanese whiskey is like. I know for a fact that they do specifically craft their whiskey to be good in highballs, which is to say, shot of whiskey and then top with seltzer water and then like mix. And then so like, while very simple, what it does is like the way it interacts with seltzer water is very specific, and it like leads to a very interesting flavor experience. when prepared in that simple way. And a lot of Japanese mixology specifically is the fact that they are so meticulous. It's such an art. It's both an art form and a science at the same time. They're so specific about how they mix things. They're so specific about how they shake things. They're very, very precise with their measurements. And so, like, when they when they craft their drinks, it's like very much exactly how they wanted to do it, as opposed to like the variants that can sometimes happen when you have different ice like I do, or like different environments and whatnot. I'm using the translator on the keyboard to type fast with no mistakes, but that ain't working. Yeah, autocorrect can be a bitch sometimes. Here they do that with Wagyu. Sounds like coffee stuff, playing with ratios and that. Yeah, yeah. Like they are very like they get so specific. Like the quote unquote hard shake is like a Japanese shaking technique. So you've seen me shake before, just all the time, because like half of the drinks we ever make are shaken, and then so like when I shake, when people show you how to shake, they don't really give you a precise way of teaching you. You just kind of need to like hit it hard. You just need to like make sure you're exaggerating your motions, and then just like making sure that you're like intensely shaking, and then that tends to be good enough for all Western bartenders, because like the difference tends to be minute. With Japanese bartenders, it's like it's not just shaking hard. It's like, okay, you have to like wiggle your hand in a certain way to help aerate in a specific way that they want. And like you have to shake it for exactly 12 seconds, exactly 8 seconds, exactly 5 seconds, exactly 15 seconds to get the perfect dilution and aeration. And for one, I feel like it's a bit bogus. I think they're just getting really anal about it, just for the sake of their art form. But also, like the results speak for themselves. They do make really good drinks this way because they are so meticulous about specific timing, specific amount of ice, specific shape of ice, very specific measurements of what they want out of their or cocktails. And then so it's like it feels like bullshit, but it's not, and it's like weird. In anime of bartenders, they went to like a whiskey distillery and they had me really trying some kami no drink. I think it's what it's called. I'll have to try that. I know I really want to watch Bartender because it's like a realistic look on how Japanese bartenders work, and that Zhao guy I keep mentioning is really into that. I've been told to shake it as hard as I can for 12 to 15 seconds. Yeah, yeah. I think 12 is the speed. I found that 12 is is the sweet spot for my ice. I what I found out is it really depends on your ice, because some ice melts faster than the others. Some ice like does it some ice aerates your drink better. Like it, you kind of just need to get a feel for it with practice, and it depends on your ice that you have easy access to at home. My ice is, I find the sweet spot is, there's like two break points, 8 seconds and 12 seconds. Like I did find that like I get, if I'm looking for less as aeration and dilution, it's 8. If I'm looking for more, it's 12. And if I go too long, then it starts to get a little watery. I can imagine the bit of the science. The more you shake, the more you add a bit of heat, which means more dilution of the ice and oxidizing the drink too. Yeah, there is a science element to mixology that I love. That's how layering works. So let's say um what is the name of that drink? I don't know the actual name of the drink. I made a version of it that's just called Clown Juice for Coney Confetti from Idol and Gen 2. But it's basically like a 3-layer drink where it's orange juice. Orange juice? No, grenadine, orange juice, vodka infused Midori. And then so they're layered perfectly. So it's like a separate layer of grenadine, a separate layer of grenadine, a separate layer of orange juice, a separate layer of Midori. And so you have red, orange, green in like completely separated chunks. And the reason you can make a layer drink like that is because they're all different densities. Grenadine is full of sugar, and so it will always sink to the bottom. Orange juice is also full of sugar, but it's significantly less than homemade grenadine. And then so it will float on top of the grenadine. And then you do need to infuse vodka into it to do it because Midori is a pretty high in sugar spirit. But like unlike the other two, which are non-alcoholic, grenadine is non-alcoholic, but it's also like pure sugar. Orange juice is orange juice and sugar, so like as long as you mix it right, as long as you float it right, it should stay separate from the grenadine. And then as long as you mix enough vodka into your Midori on its own is already 20% alcohol, and then by adding vodka to it, you can bump it up to like 30% alcohol. And then so like it will easily float on top of that if you pour it right. And that's just a science thing. It's just like 3 different densities, and so they would float on top of each other as long as you don't allow them to mix. Yeah, there's a bit of crossover between coffee brewing and mixing cocktails. I'm still a rookie, but I do notice a little bit when it comes to pour over versus French press, like difference. Oh yeah. Like there's a lot of crossover between coffee and alcohol in like the YouTubers I watch. So like How to Drink has done like a lot of coffee cocktails, and he will always refer to this guy. Can't remember his name, but like he's like a coffee YouTuber. Like his whole channel is based on like, oh, I tried every instant coffee. This is how you make proper espresso. Does a cheap espresso maker work as well as an expensive one, etc.? And so like his whole brand is based on making coffee, and he's a professional barista and everything. And then so like How to Drink, my favorite cocktail mixologist, will often refer to this guy when he's trying to make a coffee cocktail, because he's trying to like make sure he does the coffee right. I get a feeling I know who he is. He's really big. I'm pretty sure he has over 1 million subs. So, like, I'm sure you know who he is. I've never personally watched him, but I know my favorite bartending in a YouTuber refers to him a lot. Layer drinks look amazing until you have to drink from them. Yeah. The fact that they're not mixed is not a particularly pleasant drinking experience. I do want to do a Pousse Cafe episode someday. Pousse Cafe is a very fun French style thing where they just make like a ridiculously layered. It's not a shot. It would be like twice the size of this, but it's still small. Like I mean, like compared to this, like it's still small. Like double the size of this is still very small. So imagine double the size of this shot glass, and what it is like fully like 7 different layers of drinks. So it's like your grenadine, then your juice, then your like sweet liqueur, then another sweet liqueur, then a less sweet liqueur, then a small spirit, then a high proof spirit, then an overproof spirit. And so it's like 7 layers of like different drinks all stacked on top of each other without mixing. And then what you're supposed to do is you just have it with a cup of coffee, and as you sip the coffee, you take a little sip of your Pousse Cafe, and like your Pousse Cafe, every layer of your Pousse Cafe transforms your coffee sip in a way, and it keeps changing as you get through the different layers. It's James Hoffman. That's it. That's the one. Yeah. James Hoffman. Really cool, like old looking dude because he has white hair, right? Alcohol guys are bartenders, coffee guys are baristas. It's just the same. I'm also into coffee nerdiness. I've never done on coffee. I've never really gotten into coffee YouTube. But I know it's like very closely. It's like very closely. It's like the next door neighbor of bartending YouTube. I'm only in bartending YouTube, but like I know whenever I watch bartending videos, there's always a few like coffee YouTubers next to them. Do a coffee cocktails video. I should. I don't think I can think of enough good ones. I could do what like Kahlua apps. So I can probably. So one of my favorite drinks ever is the Nai Dog. I could probably do. I want to try how to drinks thing where he like did it spiked hot chocolates. Um, what else could I do? I could do an affogato, like an alcoholic affogato. Like one of my favorite things to do ever is like I'll take actually let me pull it out. I will just pour Mr. Black ice cream on top of my ice cream. Like I will just pour this on my ice cream, and it's really good. Can't go wrong with a classic espresso martini. There we go. That might be the idea. That might be the idea. Thank you, NJ. How's it going, NJ? Nice to see you, by the way. But yeah, maybe we can do the an espresso martini thing because like there's the basic espresso martini that's literally Kahlua, vodka, and like espresso. We could do like variations on the espresso martini because I've personally invented my own espresso martini. There's a recipe I took from a friend of a VTuber I follow. And then like there's like a million different espresso martinis. Like the basic espresso martini is good, and then people expand on that all the damn time, and it's awesome. And then so like that might be a good idea, just like like espresso martini level ups, and then so it's like making a bunch of different espresso martinis. That could be a fun stream for sure. The clarified espresso martini. I don't think I have the technology to clarify drinks, sadly. So we ain't pursuing the philosopher's stone, which I consider another reason why modern society is boring. Temperature. Oh yeah, temperature or the control matters too. I noticed that with tea actually when I started brewing tea for myself. Like a certain tea I was drinking, marigold tea, kept tasting burnt because I always use boiling water. But then when I use boiling water for that tea, it always tasted burnt. And then so I had to like lower the temperature. And then I realized, oh, okay, it does taste good. Why do you always taste burnt before? And then so yeah, I need to learn about like different and I don't know anything about tea. I'm not like deep into tea right now. It's just that like I drink tea in place of my lunch because I don't eat lunch anymore. Because as part of my diet, I'm OMAD. I only eat one meal a day. Can't get to espresso from cheap instant coffee. Guys like being some certain ranges. Unfortunately, I can't afford that shit. What I do is I just get the like cold brew espresso from the grocery store. I know. Like coffee snobs are gonna get on my shit for that. But that's all I got, man, because I don't have an espresso machine at home because that shit costs $300 for a cheap one. Even my favorite mixology YouTuber, when he made espresso martinis, he used the cheap one, which is $300 still. I can't afford to do that. Yeah, tea is a bit similar. Oh yeah, tea is its own rabbit hole. Like if coffee's a rabbit hole, tea's a rabbit hole. Yeah, my mocha pie, I always preheat the water and leave it on the stove at medium heat so I don't get that overburn flavor. Yeah, yeah. I realized I had to be careful when I just realized, why does every cup of tea taste burnt? And then I decided to lower the heat. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. It's still not as good as the goldenrod tea, which one, tasted better, and then two, I could use boiling water on it and it tasted fine. But like the marigold tea turned out to be quite good when I realized, oh, I probably shouldn't burn it by using boiling water. Anyways, the last one, the last and tonic we're going to do is with absinthe. I am going to use my favorite absinthe, St. George. And let's see what absinthe does with... Let's see what absinthe does with tonic water. We're not going to put a full 2-ounce pour. We're going to use just a shot. So 1.5 ounces because absinthe is quite powerful. It's overproofed. So we don't need as much to get the full absinthe flavor. Oh, wait, I need to fill this with ice. Be right back. God, absinthe smells so good. It smells so good. Oh my gosh. It has that black licorice smell. It's so good. Oh my god, it smells so good. I hope that the tonic water doesn't ruin this. Because boy, I love absinthe. I love absinthe like I love sake, which is to say I love it more than life itself. Okay, it completely hides the tonic water. Absinthe is a little too strong for tonic water. Yeah, absinthe is too strong for tonic water. I don't taste the tonic water at all. I think there's a hint of the quinine like poking through, trying to poke through all the very strong absinthe flavors. But no, it's just it's too strong. The absinthe takes it over, which is fine by me because I love absinthe. Yeah, there's the slightest hint of the quinine poking through right at the beginning before it gets completely smothered by the absinthe. So yeah, absinthe and tonic doesn't work, not because it doesn't blend well, but because the absinthe is too strong. But it's an excuse to drink absinthe, so I'm completely fine with it. Oh, I love absinthe so much. Absinthe. Ah, I absolutely need. I've been promising it for months, um, but it's just an expensive. It's an expensive video to shoot, but like I really want to do like the is all whiskey the same, is all rum the same, is all absinthe the same. But I really want to do that series at some point, mostly because I just want to have an excuse to drink absinthe. And I already know the clickbait I want for the absinthe video. So the other ones, the clickbait is all whiskey the same? Obviously not, but like, to drive engagements, like I would need a clickbait video title like that. And as I like go through it, it'll be obvious that they're not all the same, and it'll be fun to like teach people about different whiskeys. For the absinthe video, if and when if I'm able if and when I'm able to actually do the absinthe video, I know what the title is going to be. This drink used to be banned. Because absinthe used to be banned. And there's a fun story with that too. Just like it's weird. People were so convinced that this was a hallucinogen. And if we were gonna get like tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists on this, I would say like, the wine industry managed to just get its competition outlawed. Like, what if like a game developer decides to like get their competitors banned? Like Call of Duty gets other shooters banned. What if like Mario got other platformers banned just for not being the same? Like that's the tinfoil hat conspiracy on why absinthe was banned. But then also like the way people describe the way absinthe was talked about, you would think it's like this class A, like whatever the classes mean, but it's like cocaine, it's like LSD, it's like all these fucked up chemicals that can permanently damage you with just a little bit. Like they believed absinthe was that, and it really isn't. If you're hallucinating from drinking absinthe, it's because you're getting alcohol poisoning and you're about to die. Not because of anything in the absinthe itself, it's because of the alcohol. He is skiing coffee and grilled cheeses. Yeah. Oh my god. I've burnt grilled cheeses. Like that's one of my most embarrassing culinary adventures is that I will burn grilled cheeses because I really, really want max meltiness. So I always put it in for too long and end up burning the bread. I got a cheap espresso machine, which does not really count as an espresso machine because it only goes 3 to 5 bar for an extraction. It needs to be 15 bar. I have no idea what that means, but I'll take your word for it. But I mean, it's a somewhat concentrated coffee fairly fast and it has a steamer, so But I really crave a true espresso machine. I know there's a VTuber who since graduated that I really liked, and she was so into latte art. So she'll like make a coffee and she'll do the milk thing to make like swans and flowers and shit. And hearts. That shit is so cool. That shit is so cool, and it made me want to do it. And I legit like went into her DMs and asked her like, "Hey, how do you get in a coffee machine? How do you get an espresso machine? How do you do this?" And it's like, "Oh, you have to spend like $300 on a machine." Like, fuck. Oh, I mean, like I spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars on bottles. Like I'm just as bad in terms of like my hobby, but like it's hard to get into a new hobby knowing that that's the buy-in. Vodka, yeah, it's all the same. All the others, not. No, I know it's clickbait. I know it's clickbait. So when I say is all rum the same, is all whiskey the same, but like I also know like I'm doing it intentionally because I do want to teach people, right? So it's like I genuinely 100% do want to teach people about rum, about whiskey, about mixology in general because it's such a fascinating thing and people boil it down so much. It's like, oh, people only drink to get drunk. They're all the same. Like there are people like that. And then so it's like I really want to like teach people properly that like drinking is not just for indulgence. Like I there are interesting flavors. That's why the gin and tonic is such an interesting history. It's it was a drink designed to be a cure and then it turned out to be a really good drink. And then like the complicated ways that whiskey works, like the different laws that dictate what is whiskey and all that kind of stuff. Like it's fascinating to me, and I want to teach people about that. And then so like, do I have like clickbaiting people in order to get them to listen to me? Like I'm not above that. I'm not above that. I will happily clickbait the shit out of that just so that people will listen to me. And as you say, vodka, like in the vodka episode, I kind of want to try doing like, I'm going to try to get my brother to pour me like 4 different kinds of vodka, and then I'll taste test them to see if I actually get it right. Was reading a random Wikipedia page and ran into a bit about absinthe. Apparently, it's a bad rep comes from cheap knockoff versions. Yeah, I can see that happening too, because that happened with a gin in America during the Prohibition. There was something called bathtub gin, where like people were like just making bootleg gin, and like it was really really bad because they were like using medicinal alcohol that has like intentional impurities in it to dissuade people from drinking it. And that shit was so toxic that if you drank it, you go permanently blind. Like, you don't even need much of it. You drink a little bit of it and you go permanently blind. It's scary shit, man. It really is scary shit. And so it's like, I'm sure there was something with absinthe that like legitimately got banned. I'm sure like there's more to it than just like, oh, winemakers were jealous of the absinthe and the boom, so they got outlawed. No, I'm sure there is like some legit I'm sure there were some legit medical reasons for why it got banned, but also it turns out it's completely bullshit because hey, absinthe came back. I like spiced Captain Morgan that just tastes like vanilla, and I like aged rum from Panama that's just worlds of difference. I do genuinely don't mind Sailor Jerry's. I know now that it's really cheap and bad rum, but I can't bring myself to hate Sailor Jerry's specifically. I use that a lot when the taste of the rum doesn't matter. So like I'll use Sailor Jerry's in like my eggnog, or yeah, in my eggnog specifically, just because like I know my family doesn't have like a discerning palate. So as long as it's boozy and rummy, it's good. And so like I don't have to spend when I use Sailor Jerry. Rum has the most wide range of flavor, for sure, for sure. Like literally, like the 2 rums I have over here, my Smith and Cross and my Planner A, let alone all the rums I have like below the table, like they are, depending where it gets made, they're vastly different. Especially like Kashaka, the Brazilian rum, is so much different from any other rum I've had too. Like rum is so different depending on where it's made. Do history making grilled cheese. If I can ever make it, if I can ever figure out a setup where I can actually cook for you guys, maybe. I did kind of want to cook for you guys too, because I'm new to cooking, so it would actually be kind of cursed, but it will be fun. Can't be worse than Gordon Ramsay's grilled cheese. I heard that was really. Uh, I heard the way he did was really cringy, but it's kind of. But I kind of want to see that. Bars of pressure. Now you don't have to spend a shit ton of money on an espresso machine anymore. Okay, that's good. That's good. Initial cost is high, but they've gotten cheap recently. It's not like you replace them often. Yeah, it's the clickbait title, but it's, yeah, my dad thinks that drinking is like you drink once and you're an alcoholic that drinks 8 bottles daily. Yeah, no, that's you can have like one cocktail a week and that's fine. I mean, I am a little bit problematic with how much I drink, but like I that it took years to get to this point. Like having one drink every now and then is not a bad thing. And I like to drink to savor the flavors and the experience the drink gives you. Yeah, yeah. Like when I had my first ever proper old fashioned, I realized how wonderful mixology is because it's so deep. It's so interesting. You realize just how deep it goes, and like you you understand fully right away even that it's like, yeah, it's not just to get drunk. This is actually an insanely deep new world of flavor. like moonshine. Sorry, sorry it took so long to get caught up on chat. I was kind of in my own flow state, and I just really didn't. Uh, I didn't keep up well. That's my bad. That's my bad. Like moonshine. Yeah, I guess as the bathtub gin would be like moonshine. I'm pretty sure moonshine is basically unaged whiskey. But like legally speaking, well, illegally speaking, moonshine is just any. As far as I understand, moonshine is basically literally any unauthorized alcohol. But then the moonshine we associate with like the brands that call themselves moonshine are basically unaged whiskey because a lot of moonshiners are basically making unaged whiskey. Yeah, my dad is a fear of alcohol. Alcohol scary as if everyone didn't have self-control. I mean, it's why like I don't blame people. It's like, oh, I'll never drink alcohol. I hear so much about drunk drivers or like people dying at such a young age because they were underage drinking. And it's like completely fair, completely fair. I will never force alcohol on people. I will never I will never fight the fight of like, oh, but you should just try this one cocktail. I promise you'll change your mind. Like, no, like I get why people would uh, shun alcohol for moral reasons, and I respect it. I completely respect it if you shun alcohol for moral reasons. If you shun alcohol because it's like, oh, it all tastes the same, or this is a like you only do it to get drunk, you're making up excuses. Like, no, I promise you, if I put two drinks in front of you, you would be able to tell the difference between the good one and the cheap one. So it's like that's the target audience, is the people who feel like they have prejudices against alcohol, but not for like the moral reasons of like, oh, I never want to get drunk, I never want to make a stupid decision. Just the people who are like ignorant about alcohol and think they can speak on it. Read the chat like rap gotcha catch up. Oh no, that's not Rap God, that's Godzilla. I could swallow a bottle of alcohol and I'll feel a Godzilla. Better hit the deck like the car dealer. My whole squad's and you're walking around the party, a cross between the zombie apocalypse and Big Bobby, the brain healings, which is probably the same reason I wrestle with Mania. JD's in this bitch. I'm positive consider to cost me a costly mistake if they sleep in army. The host better get insomnia, ADHD, Atrox cut. Past the Kervasi. Oh my god, that sounds so hard to sing. I will never be able to sing that song. I don't think I will ever be able to sing that song. But it's a good song. Godzilla from Eminem. I forget how Rap God goes though. Moonshine primary ingredients is corn. Yeah, lots of moonshine is made from corn. Yeah. Not all moonshine, because again, moonshine is just unauthorized liquor. Unauthorized liquor, not liqueur. But yeah, most moonshiners are trying to make whiskey. But if I recall, whiskey is wheat or barley based, aged in barrel. Whiskey can be a lot of things, and that's another reason. Like, if you are genuinely interested and you're not one of those people I'm talking about who like assume all alcohol is the same, it will still be good for you. Like, oh, you're interested in whiskey? Here's the differences between them. There's already a good one. There's already several good ones, honestly. If you look up how to drink, he has like a basics on whiskey video, and that's good. And I'm gonna be basing most of my research on that video, to be honest. I'm basically gonna rip him off, but if I'm gonna be 100% honest, but like I really want to reach the VTuber audience on this, just because it's like, man, I want the VTuber community to make better drinks. But yeah, it can be barley or wheat. A lot of it's corn based. A lot of it, because bourbon is corn based, if I recall correctly. A lot of it is rye based. Like, your rye is called rye because rye is the primary ingredient in it. Brandy is fruit based. Yeah, there's apple brandies, peach brandies, etc. Yeah, I that reminds me. I actually need to find cheap brandy. It's very funny. There's a brandy is one of the cooler or spirits because of the fact that um like the cheap stuff is actually useful because like the thing about like how to drink covers this a lot because he found that there was a significant difference between these two things. Aphrodite, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but something like Aphrodite is a brandy that is specifically fermented from peaches. But the thing is, it's like a full-bodied spirit, so it's like it's very alcoholic, it's very like subtle, it's very strong. And then there's peach tree, which is like a really cheap brandy, which is like basic ass brandy where they like put artificial peach flavor into it to make it taste like peaches. And it turns out, unlike like regular peach brandy, like unlike an Aphrodite, which is like quote unquote authentic peach brandy, the quote unquote fake peach brandy that's like artificially flavored is sometimes the one you want because of the fact that it's so peachy. Like it tastes like a candied peach. That actually helps because like sometimes you really need the peach flavor to stand out because the authentic Aphrodite that's fermented by peaches is sometimes too subtle to show up in a drink. And then so it's like, okay, sometimes the cheap stuff is actually what you want. And that's a cool thing about mixology in general. That's a cool thing about brandies specifically, is that yeah, you can make cheaper products work. It's not just a rich get richer type of hobby. It is like you can let your creativity shine through with even lesser ingredients, because sometimes the lesser ingredients offer something that's something more expensive can't. And for that's why I always recommend Four Roses bourbon, is because like it is possibly the ideal beginner's whiskey because it's so complicated. It is pretty complicated. It's like got the apples and the cinnamon and then the woody bourbon peanutty notes. It's still good enough for the veterans because it's complex and it tastes very good. But then also like this is affordable. This is like the lower end of the mid tier, the lower end of like the mid tier whiskeys. And then so it's like it's very accessible to people. I don't drink but not for any moral reason. That's understandable. Like I said, like whatever your reason is for not drinking, I understand it. Like I would never force it on someone who doesn't want to drink. But if someone's interested in like drinking casually, like let's say they're willing to have a beer with friends just to loosen up a bit, but they don't like the taste of beer, they think it's gross, but they know that like alcohol is a social lubricant, or they like drink the like pina coladas at like a restaurant because you can barely taste the rum, which by the way is valid. Like I love drinks that I the alcohol too. Sometimes I want a pina colada. Sometimes I want stealth booze drinks. And so it's like they understand into what they don't mind drinking alcohol, but they think that alcohol is a much more shallow world than they think. Like that's why I want to get with the like clickbait titles that I'm going with, like the is all whiskey the same, is all vodka the same type stuff. Is like yeah, like I really want to definitively answer no to that question. I'm gonna head out and rest. Thanks for streaming. I was probably gonna end this soon too, but like it's fun chatting with you guys. Thanks for stopping by, hey Poke. It's been a while, and I'm glad we got to hang out again. For my birthday, I thought it would be funny to buy the cheapest bottle of whiskey at the store, and oh boy, it tasted like shit. Like it needed 2 or 3 distillations. It tasted like a cereal still, half the bottle. Like that's just a half since the end of the year, and I'm not planning on tasting it again. Yeah, I mean, it's important to try like cheaper whiskeys too to see what you can get away with. Like How to Drink found like there are some bottom shelf whiskeys that are actually decent. Like they taste fine. They're just a little shallower in terms of their flavor depth. And like I buy some of those for like once again eggnogs because I spike it with both cheap rum and cheap whiskey. But also like, sometimes like given that they're decent, like I use Wild Turkey as my go-to cheap whiskey because it's very shallow in its depth, but it's like it's not bad by any stretch. It's just shallow. And then so like I use that all the time whenever I need a cheap whiskey for something. I've also seen bottles that are cheaper budget in the US that are so overpriced in Mexico. That it be like that sometimes. Just like imports are so expensive. Especially because it's like isn't whiskey an American product? Like America steals so much from other countries, but I think whiskey is our thing. So like yeah, when we export it to other countries, that's a if and when I ever move to another country, like that's the thing that terrifies me. It's like, oh god. Oh god, all the whiskey is gonna be expensive. Because they're gonna be exports now. Or rather imports. Oh man, St. George would be an import too, just because it's like this is an American whiskey, and it's my this is an American absinthe, and it's my favorite absinthe. So it's like, oh god, absinthe is already expensive, and now I'm gonna have to pay up the nose for or St. George. Ugh. Yeah, for that I was hoping to get lucky and have a decent whiskey for a low price, but things don't go as planned. America has bourbon. Yeah, American is. Bourbon is like a very strictly American product. I know that for sure. Because I think a lot of the definitions of our whiskeys is like they part of the definition is that it does need to be made in America. And like obviously Tennessee whiskey obviously needs to be made in Tennessee. And then so like that's inherently American too. But burgers are from Hamburg, pizza's from Italy, burritos are from Mexico. Yeah, yeah. My one of my favorite food YouTubers of Future Canoe always jokes about like I don't understand the hype about Italian cooking. Asia has better noodles. America has developed pizza better. And so he's always making fun of Italy in the process of making a good Italian dish, like an authentic Italian dish. And then he always apologizes right after. He's like, oh, this is good. Actually, great job, Italy. But it is funny, just like he mostly does it because like, there's a it's sort of a meme at this point that food tubers are always like feel like they're getting harassed by like Italians on the internet who like, oh, you're not making it traditional style, you're not making it authentic. And it's like not all of us have easy access to guanciale. Not all of us have easy access to like this or that. Not all of us like it the traditional way. Sometimes we want to spice it up in our own way, and it's not like we're serving it to you type thing, right? And so it is a funny little war going on there. Like tequila, to be real tequila, it needs to be made into. Oh, I didn't know that actually. I didn't realize there was a place actually called tequila in Mexico. Unless you're messing with me. I don't remember anything like that. I know there's like a because isn't there like a million types of tequila? And then there's also like a million different types of what is that other type of Mexican spirit? Shit, I can't remember. There's tequila and there's something else that was produced in Mexico, but I can't remember what it was. That reminds me though of like champagne. Like I learned recently that champagne is only champagne if it was made in Champagne. Champagne is a place in France. And then so if you make champagne, it was made in Champagne, and therefore like anything made outside of Champagne can't be called champagne. But then there was a oh, we talked about this the other day, but I forgot what it was called. Where it's like it uses the same process as making champagne, but if it uses the same process as making champagne, but it's not made in Champagne, there's a specific word for that, but I forget. Yeah, that's where tequila comes from. We have that's what it was. That's what it was. Mezcal. I've never tried a mezcal, to be honest. I'll be honest, I never really liked tequila, to be frank. I like tequila in mixed drinks, but I don't. I like tequila in mixed drinks, but I never liked tequila on its own until I finally got recommended some good tequilas, and now I understand why tequila is good. Because like I always got like either cheap tequila or like the wrong tequila, but now that I've gotten like recommendations from the people at the shop for like good tequila, now I understand at least a little better what good tequila is like. Which is tequila, but not. Isn't mezcal like significantly different from tequila though? I remember like you use mezcal in a bunch of different stuff because it's weird and different. Sparkling nine? No, there was a specific word for it. Like it was a specific like C word. Like it was there. It's not cabaret, but it's like there's a specific word for when you there's a specific word for making a sparkling wine exactly the same way that you make champagne, but because you're outside of Champagne, France, you can't legally call it champagne. I forget what that word is though. My favorite tequila is actually a cheap, real white. Apologies in advance for butchering this. Viuda de Romero. Viuda de Romero. And before I just said something highly sussy. I'm just gonna drink it this absinthe straight out the bottle because I do love me some absinthe. Oh, I forgot how strong it is. So the tonic water did tone it down. It didn't change the flavor, but it did tone it down. I forgot how strong straight absinthe is. Huh. Holy shit, that cleared my sinuses. I feel like I can breathe again. I've been stuffed up a little bit. Someone at work was sick and they gave me a little bit of the sniffles. That like drinking some straight absinthe like completely cleared my sinuses. Woo. Not bad to be your first time pronouncing it. Okay, okay, awesome. I didn't fuck up. Let's go. Could be worse. I mean, as long as I didn't do it the worst. You got lisp there for a second too. Oh god. Oh god. Listening back to the VOD's gonna be so cringe. Ugh. Ugh. There we go. Guy out. Ooh. Actually, so let's actually draw some conclusions here. So yeah. Turns out, yeah, there is a reason to do gin and tonic specifically. It makes sense for there to be gin and tonic specifically because every other version of tonic water plus a spirit doesn't mesh as well. Juniper the juniper and other herbal flavors of gin specifically meshes very well with the tonic water. Everything else somewhere between clashes or just get smothers up the tonic water, and that's why like the other ones aren't as good. So gin and tonic itself is a very good drink. Other drinks with tonic water, not so much. So stick to gin and tonic if you're planning to mix anything with tonic water. It's still worth it because you will get through your gin quickly and therefore go through your tonic quickly if you make gin and tonics. But your tonic water seems to be basically only good for gin. There you go, editor. I'm bad at doing I'm bad at doing conclusions. I did finally get my first stream, the Valhalla streams, edited. I hired someone to edit for me. We're just gonna touch up the last parts of it, but I'm so happy. I love the work he did. I'm glad for the help. But it exposed a lot of flaws within me. It was like, oh god, I need to do a better job of like showing the ingredients to the camera before I pour them. I need to like make sure that I stay close to the mic all the time because the audio cuts off every time like I lean over and then like talk without my mouth close to the mic. There's a reason why there's no more BGM for this stream is because like he told me like, oh yeah, it's a little tough to like splice together things because the audio as it keeps getting sliced up is gonna do that. And then so it's like, man, I'm such a bad streamer. Is basically the root of it, but it's been eye opening. It's been eye opening. So I'm glad I finally have some YouTube videos on the way because that's the reason I do all these. But yeah, I need to work on my conclusions for sure. I definitely need to work on my intros too, like introducing the subject matter, and then like managing to do conclusions properly so that like I can actually close out the videos in a satisfying way. Try tonic. Oh god, like shot of tonic, top with tonic. I mean, might as well just kill this bottle, right? Oh god, tonic water is so bitter. Who thought of this shit? Jesus. Ugh. Wow, we went right off the rails right at the end there. So I think this is a good time to call it. It was fun. I really hope you guys learned something from this stream. I'm not sure if you actually learned something from this stream because we ended up just just chatting and then like as I was getting drunk from X and tonics, but like I hope this was fun for you guys. I hope it was a nice. It's for me, it was nice talking to you guys. I hope you guys enjoy talking to me as much as I like talking to you. And yeah, just thank you. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for always supporting me. I hope you'll keep doing so and hopefully I can put out those videos soon because I really am proud of all the progress I made doing all these bar streams and I would like to be able to reach even more people. Oh, now that I have an editor helping me with all that and like slicing up my streams for me and doing such a good job so that I can reach out to more people and hopefully like teach people the stuff I want to teach because like mixology is like the only form of art I know how to do. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. See you next week. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be doing next week.